everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Shop Adventures, my weekly excursion where I leave the homestead here at Athletic Geek HQ and search my bounty of comics, graphic novels, action figures, collectibles, and all things in between. First things first, time to talk about what stood out from last week's bounty, and without question, the best book from last week's bounty was Daredevil. So good. Chip Zdarsky's just writing that book so well. If you haven't jumped on the bandwagon, get on it. Go buy the back issues. Get on it now. He's just so good. It's just a phenomenal little like story so far. With just then this is the beginning of the new story arc, but just everything from the last arc and now it's affecting this one. It's just I don't want to give too much away because I want you to experience the story, but just. Matt's not Daredevil anymore, but how he's still contributing to the war on crime. Oh, it's just awesome. So that book was very good. Batman was very good. It was not the end of the Bane storyline, but it was just a really, really good like interlude with Broken Bruce with like almost like this weird dream sequence or other universe with his father. Who was if you remember from Flashpoint, was his father was Batman in a different universe when Bruce was killed, and it's just really good and how they just the interactions between Bruce and his father, and I praise Tom King a lot. I give him a lot of flack, and then I'll praise him for this one. That was just a very, very well written issue, and I enjoyed it. Really looking forward to seeing where this goes with the conclusion of this Bane story arc. Justice League with this new, the Summer of the Villains that they're kind of doing with DC and everything. It was a good little story. It was, not as of now, maybe not out the gate as good as like what Snyder did in his first issue with Justice League, but still very good. And just because, I had a really big vested interest in this book going into it, it stood out. Maybe it definitely wasn't as good as these last three, but I didn't love it, but I did like Superman Year One by Frank Miller. It was a good story. Some of it was still kind of by the numbers. Some of it, they did go into some darker areas with a couple things, because that's just Frank Miller. But I don't think I think he understands that you can't quite go super dark with Superman. So maybe it's because I just really expected him to just go completely off the walls with this book that I enjoyed it maybe more than I should have. But I did enjoy it, and I will be reading the rest of it. So, we'll see how it turns out. But I will see you when I get back here at the homestead with this week's bounty. Hey everyone, I am back here at the homestead here at Athletic Geek HQ, and let's get right to it. This week's bounty includes a book that I'd actually kind of forgotten was going on. It is Batman Damned, Book 3 by Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo. I probably mispronounced that. I apologize, sir, if I did mispronounce your name. Yeah, it's a basically horror Batman. And it's a good book, and I've enjoyed the first two books of it, but just much like Doomsday Clock, when you go a long time without reading it, or you go a long time without thinking about it, and there's other books that you're reading more consistently, you just kind of forget about it. So my memory was jogged, and I was surprised whenever they pulled this book out when I decided to get my pull list, and I'm like, oh yeah, this was good. So definitely looking forward to reading this one. It says on the back that the end is here, so I don't know if this is the final part or not. But yeah, I've been wrong before by thinking things were the final part and they weren't, much like Batman last week. So we'll see if this is the end of the Batman Damned story, or if there will be more to come from Mr. Azzarello. Batman Damned, Book 3. And staying on the topic of Batman, we have Detective Comics number 1006, and the Spectre is going to be making a guest appearance, it looks like, quoting Stephen Amell's Green Arrow, "If you have failed this city" on the cover. I'm sure that was done on purpose. But yeah, I've loved Tomasi's run on Detective so far. This is the beginning of a new story arc with and the Spectre is going to be part of it. So yeah, this has been the best Batman book the last few months, and looking forward to see where it takes us. So, Detective Comics number 1006. From there, we go to Justice League Dark number 12, and there's going to be a pivotal issue on whether or not this stays in my pull list, because it's just kind of, yeah, it's just kind of time for cuts, and not so much that the book has been bad, but I just haven't been remembering a lot from it. And if you're not really remembering, and you gotta kind of think like, oh, you know, if it doesn't make any impression at all, sometimes that's just as bad as making a bad impression. So at least when it comes to comics. So, you know, we'll see where it goes. You know, there have been a lot of times right here on the adventure that I've said, this is, you know, this is the pivotal moment for this book, and then it's hit a home run, and it's stayed on my list. So that's kind of where we're at with Justice League Dark, and number 12, and we'll see what happens. And from there we go to The Flash number 73. Whew, I love this storyline. There's a lot of year one stories going right now, but I've sung the praise of this. Just really, really cool how they're, you know, retelling the origin of Barry Allen with, and by extension some of the Rogues too. Just, yeah, awesome. You hear me sing the Flash's praises. It's the best kept secret in comics, and that also makes me a little sad because everybody should be loving this book. It's an amazing book. Ever since the DC Rebirth has started, this has been one of the best books out there, and the fact that this is not, in most circles, being considered one of the go-to books disappoints me, because I really enjoy it. So, yeah, definitely pumped up about this one. Flash number 73. From there, we go to Superman Action Comics number 1012. And I'm just kind of curious to see what's going to be going on in Action Comics now that the event Leviathan has started, which, while it really wasn't a top book that really super stood out, it was good enough that I will be following that, but that's a tangent I'm not going to go off on. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing what they have planned with, you know, coming with the previous story arc in Action Comics spawning the summer event book, or maybe someday go beyond summer. I don't know what the publishing schedule is going to be like for the event Leviathan book, but with it spawning that directly from it, like everything that happened in Action is what led to that. And with this, it not looking like it's a tie-in, I'm just curious what kind of story Bendis is going to be telling with Action Comics right now. So, yeah. Action Comics, number 1012. And we go to round out the end of the DC portion of this bounty, we go to Terrifics, number 17. And it's a fun book with just, I really enjoy the characters and really enjoy just the interaction between all the characters. I kind of considered on the chopping block with Jeff Lemire leaving, and much like I said earlier on, I've made a point on this show to go, well, you know, it's got to really impress me, or it may not be around much longer. Well, this is the book, one of the books I was telling about. I thought I was going to have to cut it. Read the book, really enjoyed it, and it definitely staved off getting cut from my pull list. Just underrated characters with great interaction, and I apologize. I might have already mispronounced one one person's name on this show, so I'm not going to try and pronounce it. It's Segovia. I apologize if that's wrong too. But yeah, he did a great job with the previous issue, and I hope he can really keep it up here in Terrifics number 17. We now go to the Marvel portion of this bounty, and we're going to start off with two books by a writer I really enjoy. Two books that I really enjoy, but they're tied into a book I'm not reading, so I'm just going to kind of skim through it, and it is Avengers number 20 and Thor number 14. They've been okay stories, you know, with these War of the Realms, but like when you're missing a big portion of things going on, they're just kind of like, oh, okay, you know, and then I'm done with it in 2 minutes. Definitely gonna probably reread a lot of these tie-in books whenever I get the trade paperback for War of the Realms. That's just something I'm gonna do, and maybe I can appreciate the stories a little bit better. I compare it to me reading these books without reading the main story. It would be like if season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., when it got to the Hydra taking over and Grant Ward being a secret member of Hydra, if you got to that point and didn't see Winter Soldier, you'd probably kind of go like, okay, this is good, but what's going on? There'd be so much about it that you wouldn't understand, but then if you'd seen Winter Soldier and you're watching, you'd be like, oh, holy shit, this is good. And that was about the peak of that show, because that show ever since then has been complete trash. But that's neither here nor there right now. That's kind of the feeling that I have with all these tie-in books. And maybe I should have bit the bullet and just jumped on the War of the Realms, been reading it, but I didn't. And I guess I'm paying for it. We'll see. We'll see when the trade paperback comes out. But Avengers 20 and Thor number 14. Yeah. And then to finally round out the bounty this week, it is a book that I'm sure is the final issue to it. It is Mr. and Mrs. X number 12. Unbelievable run. I really, you know, it's going to be bittersweet reading this, but I'm sure it's going to be, I hope it doesn't make me sad in the story. I hope at least kind of goes out with making me at least the story making me feel good, with the fact that it's ending, making me a little bit sad. But a book that I thought was going to last 6 issues gave me another 6 of just really, really great writing. Kelly Thompson just told the story of my favorite couple in comic books exceptionally well. While I've, you know, haven't always enjoyed all of her work, this was just phenomenal writing, and probably one of the best Marvel stories I've read since I got back into comics around 2011. Just really, really enjoyed it. Wasn't perfect, you know. I mean, like, there'd be like some more to other people, I could, you know, they point out flaws in it all the time, but to me, it was 2 characters that I love that don't always get to be on top in the X-Men books, getting their own series, and just really, it is the embodiment of everything I love about both characters. And I'm very, very happy that I got the chance to read this book. So thank you, Kelly Thompson, for I doubt you'll ever see this, but thank you, Kelly Thompson, for a wonderful, wonderful story. So this will be the last book I read, because I just don't want it to end. But it is. We're going to move on. There's going to be a big X-Men event coming next month, and we'll just see what happens. But once again, great story. Thank you for a great story. Mr. and Mrs. X, number 12. And that is it for me this week. Let me know what you picked up at your local comic shop in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and give it a share. If you'd like to see more videos, please subscribe. For more content, please go like my Facebook page at facebook.com/athleticgeek89. There you will find every Thursday my collection comic of the week blog that is exclusive to my Facebook page. And I have content not just from the world of comic books, but from the world of gaming, pro wrestling, and all things geek culture. So be on the lookout for that. But on that, I'm out. Y'all be cool.